We've got an update on another potential DC character that could be coming to James Gunn's DCU, plus updates on some more upcoming horror projects on today's edition of Movie News Daily. Let's get into it. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC's Movies, where you can see all kind of movie and TV show content with me, JC, here today to continue our Movie News Daily Show, where we bring you movie news every Monday through Friday. So if that's up your alley, definitely hit that subscribe button. Also, if you're a fan of superhero, horror, and comedy genre, we talk movie and TV shows within those genres a lot here on the channel. Would love to talk with you. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Come talk some movies with us here on JC's Movies. And you can also help us out while you're in here just by hitting that thumbs up button. Giving us a like on this video will help us out a ton with that YouTube algorithm. Help this video find more movie fans like you and me. And today, on our January 27th edition of Movie News Daily, we've got an update on a potential new character coming to the DCU. We've got updates on multiple horror projects and another upcoming project as well that we will get to here to cover on this episode. So with no further ado, let's get to those, leading off with the potential DCU news. All right, and as we lead off here, James Gunn has been sharing some pictures on social media of these Chocos, the chocolate cookies, knockoff Oreos, if you will, and it's all over the set. I mean, look here. Look at this. I mean, he's got bottles of it. He's got folders with it inside and different paperwork. Look at that entire set is Chocos. And if you know anything about DC Comics, who is it that loves those cookies? None other than Martian Manhunter. As you see here, I shared on social media, speculating that could be what this means. I think this means at some capacity, whether it's in Man of Tomorrow or another DCU project, Martian Manhunter is coming to James Gunn's DC universe. I think is what this means. Just my speculation. Let me know what you think. But that's what I believe that James Gunn is trying to, hit us with a little Easter egg of here, hit us with a hint of as we continue to cover the DCU on JC's Movies. As this develops, we'll cover it more as we cover all the DCU news here on the channel. And then we've got quite a few updates here from Bloody Disgusting, who's always great to bring the horror updates. And this one is Ready or Not 2. The sequel to Ready or Not is actually going to be releasing 1 week earlier than previously planned. As we see here, originally set to release on March 27th, it is actually now going to release on March 20th, 2026. That's when you will be able to check out Ready or Not 2. And those of you that were fans of weapons like myself will probably be glad to see that Amy Madigan is joining a Netflix serial killer series called All the Sinners Bleed. And for those who don't know Amy Madigan, that's Aunt Gladys from Weapons, who has been nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, but she will be starring in All the Sinners Bleed. Variety is the first one to report this, which is currently in production in Atlanta and is a Netflix series based on the 2023 serial killer novel of the same name, and she will play Scarlett Cunningham in this series. The synopsis that we have is the story follows Titus Crown, the first black sheriff in a small Bible Belt county. Haunted by his devout mother's untimely death, he must lead the hunt for a serial killer who has been preying on his black community for years in the name of God. Interesting. I'll have to check this one out here on Netflix. Seems like it'll be a pretty good series to give it a go, especially Amy Madigan starring in it. She did a great turn in the horror genre. Hopefully here's another one coming on Netflix here in the near future. All the Sinners Bleed on Netflix. Look out for it. And then Bloody Disgusting sharing this one as well on X. Diane Lane has joined Scarlett Johansson in Mike Flanagan's The Exorcist. So not only do we have, Mike Flanagan coming back to, help reboot The Exorcist, but a pretty good cast coming together now as well, with Scarlett Johansson confirmed and now Diane Lane confirmed as well. Plot details remain under wraps, but the film is not a remake of William Friedkin's horror classic, and it's also not a sequel to the David Gordon Green Exorcist Believer. It is going to be released in theaters March 12th, 2027, so a little over a year from now. Look out for The Exorcist, where you will see Diane Lane and Scarlett Johansson in this Mike Flanagan project. And those of you that are my age or older probably remember Faces of Death from back in the day. Well, there's a remake coming, and it's coming out this year in April, actually. The long-delayed remake, finally set for an April release, according to Bloody Disgusting. And this was filmed back in 2023, but it'll finally come to theaters on April 10th. And then we also have this from Bloody Disgusting, which should excite fans that have been wanting to see James Wan get back into the director's chairs. He's been producing for a while now. He wants to make a scary Saw that recaptures the vibe of that first film. And we know that James Wan and Lee Winnell are returning to the franchise after Blumhouse acquired the Saw franchise. And the quote here from James Wan talking about this is, for me to finally come back to it, I feel I probably have the freshest outlook. I feel I can come back to it with a new perspective, whilst knowing that this next movie, I want to harken back to the spirit of the first movie. One of the things I really want to do with this next Saw is make it scary again. I want to make a scary Saw, not just gory, but psychologically scarring, like what Lee and I did in the first movie. Lee and I both want to recapture the spirit of that first film and revisit Jigsaw's philosophy, which is that he goes after people who don't appreciate their lives. And he concludes by saying this next movie would be the 11th installment, and there have been lots of films in this world. We need to do something different in order to reach out to a new generation that didn't grow up with it, which I think is a great take. And Saw 11 still in early development. We'll learn more about it in the future, more important here on JC's Movies as we do. But James Wan saying this and him and Lee Winnell back involved, I think is a good sign. And then just lastly, had to include this one because I did not know this was coming, see this was coming, any of that, as Hollywood continues to, sell our childhood, sell nostalgia back to us, right? Another thing that they're doing here now is a Dirty Dancing sequel, one of those legacy sequels, because Jennifer Grey is coming back to star in the Dirty Dancing sequel as the Hunger Games producers Nina Jacobson and Brad Simpson join that sequel here from Variety. As you see, Kim Rosenstock will be penning the screenplay as well. Production is expected to start later this year. And apparently this was announced way back in 2020, which I guess went, over like a fart in the night because I never remember hearing about it. But Jennifer Grey's been attached to star since then, and she's going to executive produce. They pushed back a planned 2024 release after the writer's strikes, but now this thing is back online. New writer, new producer, new director. The former director there, Jonathan Levine, will stay on as an executive producer, however. So look out sometime in the near future. This thing's going to kick off filming, and we're going to get a Dirty Dancing sequel in the next couple of years, I'd say. So, something to keep an eye on if you're a fan of the original, I guess, go ahead and check out the Dirty Dancing sequel. And that's our final piece here that we'll talk about on the January 27th edition of Movie News Daily. So there you have it. As promised on yesterday's edition of Movie News Daily, Tuesday's always a little bit more juicier. There's plenty of news that seems to come out on Tuesdays in regards to movies. Glad we could cover some of it here. A lot of it horror related, as usually is the case here on JC's Movies. And speaking of that, we've got some horror movies that we hope to review this weekend as well. And we'll hit on those in latter editions of Movie News Daily this week, of course, as we talk about the weekend's releases, some horror movies I'm hoping to see and then review for you guys. So look out for those in the near future here on the channel. But let me know your thoughts on any of the stories that we've covered today or anything you want to talk about there, movie and TV show related. Drop it in the comments there. Always appreciate those interactions. They help me to continue to grow the JC's Movies channel here on YouTube. And be sure you're subscribed as I bring you movie news every weekday here, Monday through Friday. Be back with you guys again tomorrow. But in the meantime and in between time, just want to say I appreciate you tuning into this one, and I will catch you on the next one.